Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Do Force. Today we're going to be talking about part 2 of the MSF course or MTC course or just a motorcycle course and how that goes. Just to let you guys know, and I'm going to explain this to get into detail, I did fail it. I failed the course the second time around. But I want to talk about it. And I also want you guys to understand, even though I failed it, I think it was worth it. And I think people that have like no experience like me, should take it whether you pass or fail. I'm going to explain that in this video. So let's go into the video. So the reason I say people should take it, even though you might fail or pass, is because the experience you gain from the MFS course is extremely important. Extremely important. Now, even though I failed and it did hurt, I can still take the DMV, or technically I can repay again, which I kind of don't want to. But what I'm going to do is I just practice around my neighborhood and just take the DMV test, just because I don't really want to pay the money. And personally, I've done the first and second day. I know where all my weak points are because they actually tell you what you suffered on and why you didn't pass. So when I retook the course again, the first day I did extremely well. I did perfect. Like the coach was like, "You improved a lot compared to like how some other people improve on their first day." That's because, if you guys recall from my last video, I did purchase the bike, or I hinted at it, which I did, and I practiced on my bike, but I didn't practice a lot because I didn't know much. I just practiced how to control the throttle and how to switch gears. I kept practicing that. I also practiced braking, which all helped me on the first day, which was extremely great. But near the end of the first day and the beginning of the second day, we did counter steering. Up to right now, I'm still practicing and it's getting better, but counter steering has to be the most weakest part of my driving so far. And it's because originally I had a lot of fear doing it. Now I don't have the fear as much right now. Now I'm just working on doing it smoother, better, sharper. Before, the problem was the fear. Now it's just making it better. And when I mean fear, I mean like I had a lot of fear. Like a lot of fear to the point where I would turn and then go straight. I wouldn't do a full U. I literally, even with all the space the MFS provided, that's how bad I was doing. I was doing a semi-U, like turning and then going straight. And then making a huge oval. I was hitting the cones. That's how bad my counter steering is, because how much fear I had of counter steering. But between the first day and the second day of doing it consistently, it felt as the fear was getting smaller, peeling off per every turn I did. The point where like, oh, okay, now I can do it, but I suck at it because I don't have that much practice. And when I was doing it, it was more fighting fear than legitimately just trying to figure out my turns a little bit sharper, slower, better. So now I'm practicing that on my own. But the reason I failed was when at the end of the course, they do a little evaluation test, and you do these little things like small turning, counter steering, stopping, braking. You do all this stuff. Anyways, I did all of them, but I didn't do all of them greatly. My hard emergency brake, I skidded, which was pretty bad. I skidded the furthest. So I panicked and I slammed the brakes. I'm supposed to grip it to emergency halt. So that was my fault. The second one is on a slow weave and a slow sharp left turn. I dropped my foot on the turn because it was going so slow that I put one foot down, but just once. And then on the sharp left or right turn, I passed the yellow line, which they mark you a lot of points for that, which is fine. As much as I was upset about failing, I was more happy that I finished the course and that I know the things that I need to work on my bike, and I need to practice those on my bike before I take the DMV. The most thing I'm happy I took it was all the experience I gained from it compared to the training I wasn't getting from it. And spending so many hours on the bike made everything so much easier that when I got home, Today actually, today and yesterday. Yesterday and today I've been practicing on my bike because I can only practice on the weekends due to like can't drive at night and stuff like that. But today I drove the furthest. I passed the lights. I went further. I went near a few blocks. I went into kind of what I'm familiar with, and I went a little bit further. But I didn't go on any main street. I didn't go on very populated car streets. I just stayed within a community, but I expanded really, really far, going through breaks, going through stops and lights, and all that stuff. But for people who are thinking like they should skip it or they don't need to take it, because I actually talked to quite a few people, and some people feel like they don't need to take it. It's worth the money, no matter what you think. If I want to retake it again, they dropped the price to 180 something because I already paid the 250. If I want to retake it, a piece of me kind of wants to, a piece of me kind of doesn't want to. Mostly because I just want to practice on my own bike, on my own terms. I definitely am a person that has a higher fear factor. So it takes me longer to learn things because I also have to break the fear before my brain can shoot away from the fear and start shooting into the more understanding part. So with people that have less fear factor, you guys are a little easier to like experience and learn. So that's kudos for you guys. But for us people that are watching this video and have a higher fear factor, you need to understand one thing. You need to learn to take this at your own pace. If your friend learns twice as fast as you, who cares? The important thing is you do this correctly and you learn how to control your bike at your own pace. Because if you try to rush learning or trying to play catch up with your friend, it's not going to end well for you at all. Because eventually you guys are going to have to start going into streets, populated streets. And if you're not ready, you're going to panic. And it's not going to end well for you, the bike, or your body, or anybody in general involved. So learn to deal with the fact that you have a higher fear factor if you're that type of person. And just realize that you need to put more hours into the simplest things. There's nothing wrong with it. And the reason I say there's nothing wrong with it is because the second time I took the course, which I thought I was the one with the highest fear factor, but I saw people in the MSF course that were just like me on my first day of my panic. This time when I took the class, I had more unexperienced drivers compared to the first time. The first time I took the drive, everybody that was in that course had experience, was driving illegally, or had some form of close family friend that they practiced some good amount before they took the course. This time around, there were some people that haven't been on a bike for 20 years. That's a long time. The guy who was there because his family member wanted him to learn the bike, but he never practiced with that individual. We never got that particular training. The guy just took the MFS course directly. And then some guy, I forgot what his background was, but he seemed pretty confident from what it looked like when we started the class. And then there was me and another lady. So the total was, there was like 5 or 6 of us that were really inexperienced, and then the rest of the class had some former experience, or they came in their own bike and they just wanted to take this because they were out of state or for any other reason. So there was 5 of us that were super inexperienced. And while we took the test, one guy, the bigger dude that I thought was the most confident of all of us, I saw him messing up doing the whole, and I remember that. I'm like, oh dude, that's me the first day. Like, okay, this guy has no bike experience. And a piece of me felt bad, and a piece of me was like, I tried to give him a fist bump, and I tried to get everybody a fist bump that was new to encourage them to continue. Because the first class, they made me feel comfortable, even though I sucked. But I tried to make them as comfortable as possible because we all suck together. We try to make it so it doesn't eat us apart, because individually we're taking in so much and we have a higher fear factor. But the best thing you could do is like just fist bump, give them the thumbs up, try to shrug it off, tell them that we're all new, we all suck at one thing, or we suck at everything. Unfortunately, he was doing it a little bit too much. That I saw the part where we just go around in circles, just go around circles and just practice being on the bike. I saw him get off the bike, and I thought he was like me. The first day I did it, I got off the bike, I got to the side and I got off. I took a few deep breaths, then I went back in. Unfortunately for him, the fear completely took over and he got off the bike and he just walked off the course, which made me kind of sad. I wish I could have talked to him, because it made me realize that there's a lot of people that take the MFS course and they never touch a bike again because they come to the realization that as much as we watch YouTube videos on people driving bikes, it's so much different when you're doing it. The difference between watching someone and you doing it is huge to some of us. And then the other two people that I thought did pretty well didn't show up for day 2. So I'm not sure if the instructor told them individually that maybe they need more practice to do day 1 again like they told me, or if they decided not to. So I'm not too sure on that part. I just know that when I took day 2, those 3 were missing. And me and the other lady who was very inexperienced, she was also having a lot of fear and contradiction, but she was doing pretty well. She was doing pretty well because she actually got a bike at home, but she never driven it, and she had her husband who drives a bike, so she really wanted it just as much as I did. She at the end also failed the course like I did, but because she didn't fail prior to the first day, she just has to retake the second day again, so she didn't have to get charged. So good for her. I'm not sure if she ever watched this video, but good luck. I hope you pass the second time. I really appreciate that we were able to help each other, encourage each other, and do better on the second day and first day. You honestly really did help me a lot, and you and the rest of the community made me feel a lot better throughout the whole experience, even though I still failed. But I was happy. I was happy because I got all those hours in, and I was happy because I got to get rid of tons of fear that I originally had. So if you're a guy that has tons of fear like I do, or has no experience, take the course. It doesn't matter if you pass and you get your license that way. The important thing that you should take from it is you have fun being on the bike, and to learning how to use the bike to where you can enjoy it even more. So yeah, that's basically how things are going. I know I'm not street ready. When I mean street ready, I know I'm not in streets that are more popular with cars. Right now I'm really good and I'm comfortable being in my neighborhood and driving and going more deeper into my neighborhood, but going into busy streets, I'm not ready. But that's fine. Like I said, taking this at my own pace. I know eventually I'll be ready for street ready once I realize I can comfortably hit higher gears a lot smoother and downshift a lot smoother and turn a lot smoother. And I know I can keep up with a good flow of traffic. And understanding that if you have a higher fear factor, it just basically means you just need more practice on certain things, or consistently do the same thing over and over to relieve yourself of that fear. The more practice you do, the less fear you have. Now, technically you're not supposed to get rid of all your fear, but you're not supposed to let it control you either. It has to be a balance. So just like those people that I told you walked away from their bike from the course, you should take it, because if you end up giving up and you decide not to do after you take the course, you save yourself a lot of money. You don't have to buy gear, you don't have to buy a bike. And then you really find out, like, that's kind of how you find out. You find out if you're those people that get it naturally, you know to practice. If you have complete fear and you don't want to do it anymore, which is completely fine, it's your decision. And then if you find out you're that one percenters like me and that woman that was at the course, where as much fear as we want or we have, our body wants this more than our fear wants to fully say no. So I ended up in that category where as much as fear took over me, I still wanted to do. So in order for me to enjoy it, I personally just have to practice more, which is what I've been doing. So hopefully this video was helpful to somebody out there. Oh, I try not to make it too long. Sorry if I did. Overall, take it. It's worth every penny. It's worth every dollar. It's worth it on so many fundamental levels. It's worth it on the train level, the fear level, the experience level, and the knowing level. You know, it is what it is. I hope you guys like this video. Do a force out and have a good time, guys.